I think the prayer should read, Nigerian Customs Service should adequately compensate the country. You don't reward a dead person, you compensate a dead person, and then you resettle the family. I think that's a more straightforward prayer. Thank you, sir.
The prayer proposed by Senator Hussein Babangida. It's the amendment.
The distinguished colleagues, the amendment to the recommendation 13 has been made that the Nigerian Customs Service should reward adequately any of its personnel. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. The clerk of the Senate. Hope you have noted that. It's the recommendation here is that the federal government should redefine its. If the communities were ceded to Cameroon or other places, the ayes would have had it. So I heard a lot of nays, but I can put the question again. In the advanced countries, in favor of this recommendation, say
in discharging its mandates, especially in the area. I'm from a border community, sir. Those from border communities know about those camps, and they'll be smashing into people's just simply to be associated with the officials. They would do it for illegal use of whether they're humans or whatever. Smashing into people's that they would just to enforce, I think, should be discouraged. Sentences: the use of firearms and camp boys or other illegal means on innocent Nigerians must be discouraged.
The recommendation as presented.
Those again say nay. Formations across the border communities. This will give stakeholders proper understanding of customs.
Define isolation with the border, the personal inclusion in the scheme of.
Mr. President, my amendment on prayer and some formations across the border communities. This will give stakeholders proper understanding.
Any seconder? Yes. Very distinguished Senator. Shabi?
As proposed by Senator Abdullahi. As for second.
Distinguished colleagues, community engagement units should be established in all customs formations across the border community. This will give stakeholders proper understanding.
You may represent us well Senatorial District. So I think through the Nigerian Customs Service to establish corporate social responsibility program. I see part of programs.
Recommendation 17, in your view, has been subsumed by 12 and therefore should be deleted. Any seconder? Yes, Senator Mustafa.
Your Excellency, distinguished Senate President, I rise to second the proposal that subsection 17 should be expunged while 12 has carried out the necessary recommendation.
Distinguished colleagues, recommendation 17, the ayes have it. Service should be encouraged, the Nigerian Customs Service. On the side of customs, gradual attention should be given to the following equipment: long-range CCTV cameras along border communities covering about 5 to 20 kilometers before any Nigerian Customs Service checkpoints. ICT control rooms to monitor movement of smugglers at all Nigerian borders and same to be reported to the control room for seizure, attack, and recovery. Air tracking of smugglers by 2 or 3 and shall transmit its findings to the control rooms. Speedboats for riverine areas, creeks, and oceans should be provided to track smugglers on waterways. Purchase of excavator, crane vehicles for evacuation of goods and vehicles at waterlogged terrains. Trailers, 40 number, one for each state, and doubled to some states with prevalence of smuggling of bags of rice or produce for its evacuation when impounded. Kitting of officers, guns, bulletproof vests, rubber bullets for crowd control, adequate uniforms, boots, tear gas, etc. Public address system for border communities meetings and adequacy of citizens on the need to relate with customs officials and key into duty and tariff payments on imported items. Recommendation of the ayes have it. Recommendation 20. Functional scanner equipments should be insured land borders for import examination items purposes. Mobile scanners should be procured for land borders, while stationary scanners should be procured. Those in favor of the recommendation at some customs staff quarters to prevent the estate from being submerged by ocean waves. This could be urgently captured in the Nigerian Customs Service 2024 budget proposal to the National Assembly to rescue the buildings contained in those estates. Those in favor of this recommendation say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Auctioning of legally seized items should be done promptly or in time to avoid contamination, depreciation, or outright waste. Those in favor of recommendation 21 say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank the distinguished senator, committee members, distinguished Senator Issa Shaibulao, distinguished Senator Olamilekan Abiola Solomon, distinguished Senator Suleiman Omar Sadiq, distinguished Senator Abdurrahman Kawu Suleiman, distinguished Senator Tony Woye, distinguished Senator Ekon Samson, distinguished Senator Olajide Iguchoba Emmanuel, distinguished Senator Mohammed Danduse Mokhtari, distinguished Senator Yaradua Abdulaziz Musa, distinguished Senator Vice Marshal Napoleon Bali, for a wonderful job. The Hardcore Committee has discharged its services to the satisfaction of the Nigerian Senate, the chairman, and all your colleagues. We applaud you for a very, very thorough job, painstakingly traveling through the various borders of Nigeria where customs services operate, checking all the checkpoints both on land and on sea, and bringing about very comprehensive recommendations that can reform not just the relationship between the customs services and the communities. And we urge distinguished Senator to move his motion, and if seconded, we go ahead to debate it. Checking all the checkpoints. Both.
With your permission, Mr. President, I wish to move this motion.
Please proceed.
The co-sponsor of this motion is distinguished Senator Samaila Kausmela, as #1 sponsor, and co-sponsored no other than able here, Senator Eyina Abaribi, and Palestinian crisis.
You have that they are distributing. Is that the motion? You have it in writing? You have it in writing. Okay, so continue. So you can share.
It's a complex and long-standing conflict
that has been ongoing for over 100 years. The battle is rooted in competing claims to the land of Israel and Palestine, and has been marked by violence, displacement, and suffering from both sides. The Senate further notes that the conflict began in the early 1900s as Jewish immigrants from Europe began to settle in Palestine, which was an Arab population who felt that their land was being taken away from them. Aware that in 1948, the United Nations voted to partition Palestine into two states, one Jewish and one Arab. The Jewish community accepted the plan, but the Arab community rejected it. This led to the outbreak of 1948 Arab-Israeli War, which resulted in the defeat of Arab armies and establishment of State of Israel. The Senate further notes that the war also led to the displacement of hundreds and thousands of Palestinians who became refugees. Many of these refugees remain in refugee camps in the West Bank, Gaza Strip, and neighboring Arab countries. The Senate is worried that the conflict has since been marked by a series of wars, uprisings, and negotiations. One of the most significant events in the battle was the Six-Day War in 1967, in which Israel captured the West Bank, Gaza Strip, East Jerusalem, and Golan Heights from Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. The Senate is further worried that the occupation of the West Bank and Gaza Strip has been a main source of tension and conflict in the region. The Palestinians seek to establish an independent state in West Bank and Gaza Strip and East Jerusalem as its capital. Israel, on the other hand, has built which it claims are necessary for its security. Concerned that in recent years there has been renewed effort to negotiate peaceful settlement between Israel and Palestinians. However, these talks have failed to produce lasting and durable peace in the Middle East. Mr. President, distinguished senators, there has been horrifying and horrendous figures of casualties from both sides. These figures include number of people that have been displaced, schools that have been destroyed, hospitals, churches, mosques that have also been destroyed from both sides. Ambulances and industrial areas have also been attacked. I do not want to go into the figures, but the figures, Mr. President, distinguished senators, are horrifying and very, very horrendous. The Senate further notes that many international communities have condemned the ongoing conflict and that if urgent steps are not taken to address the situation, the battle may spread to neighboring countries and then to the allies of Israel and Palestine, which may further result in the loss of more lives and properties. In fact, it is even feared that if the escalation of this war continues, it may lead to World War III, God forbid. The Senate resolved, number one, to urge the federal government of Nigeria to, as a matter of urgency, take necessary steps in conjunction with the United Nations to end the conflict and save lives and properties of innocent women, children, and indeed humanity in general. Two, urge the federal government of Nigeria to press for two-state solution and for permanent resolution of Israeli-Palestinian crisis as agreed by the United Nations. Thank you, Mr. President and distinguished Senator.
Distinguished Senator Abaribe.
Thank you, Mr. President. My name is Naya Baribe. Having gone through a civil war as a child in the unfortunate war in Nigeria between 1967 and 1970, nobody accepted by Senator Aliero condemning the wanton destruction of lives in that conflict and calling for a solution that will lead to a permanent end to this conflict. Like was mentioned in the motion, a two-state solution had been proposed and accepted, but one side said they don't want to accept, and the other side says they want to protect themselves. But the point is, the world knows that an eye for an eye will lead to everybody not having any eye at all. And so I join in calling for the swift and quick resolution of this conflict so that the world may be at peace. I so second.
The motion has been moved and seconded, and I'm sure. Distinguished Deputy Senate President.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am Barrow Jibril. Peace and peace. Nothing is more than peace. You talk about economic development, that development, this development. You can never achieve that without peace. And the concern of the people of the world is that this conflict can spread, but we don't want to spread. And that's why this motion is very, very important. What we are calling for is for a ceasefire immediately. I support what Senator Abaribo said. The concept of eye and eye to an eye should not be something that should be embraced. What we need now is a ceasefire so that the people that are being killed every day will no longer be killed. So many have lost their lives. So many children have been left orphans. We see what is happening. When you on your TV, you see dead bodies and so on and so forth. This is not acceptable. This is not good. It's not good for the modern world. For a world that has become sophisticated, has become more advanced, to now begin to witness this kind of atrocity is not something we should welcome. We should add our voices to that of responsible people over the world, that Palestine and Israel should come together, accept the two-state solution, accept the two-state solution for permanent peace to prevail in that region. We can allow this to continue. I therefore support this motion, and that a permanent ceasefire should be called for and should be implemented immediately. This is what we're asking for. Before shifting blame whether this one has done this, let the carnage stop, let the killing stop. Then we sit down and negotiate for two-state solution. I so submit.
President, my dear, as stated by my big brother, Senator Muhammad, and amend the motion and come with unified version of the motion for the betterment of our country, humanity, and we all agree figures which we generated from the United Nations, 2 units of United Nations which is there, like the 18 places of worship, which are mosques and churches, 22,000 residential building, 19 which is working places, with almost 65 SP and DSP who in their own wisdom organize a better way to attend it. I so second and I so submit, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you. Distinguished Senator Sani Musa, you talk as if you are from Palestine or you are an Israeli.
Thank you, Mr. President, and my distinguished colleagues. I also stand to support this motion and also to commend the wisdom of the presenter of this motion. It's all about humanity. We all here will stand to condemn the aggression from both sides. Is it the Hamas or self-defense? It's not all about who is right or who is wrong. We're talking about the killings of the children and women, defenseless, on both sides is condemnable. So what I feel a country like Nigeria, in Africa, when we also give our voice out, calling for peace, I don't think there is anything wrong in doing that. We are calling for peace. We want a solution, a permanent solution to this thing. Since 1948, from around United Nations to be seen to have voted on the side of peace, and that peace is the two-state solution. We equally have the right to live. That is all. So I stand to support this motion wholeheartedly. My heart bleeds the way I see children are being killed, women are being killed. If they kill the Hamas, I don't care about that. But innocent children, bombing schools, bombing hospitals, is very wrong. Thank you, Mr. President.
I think this is a very emotive topic. And every mother, every mother and every, so it came by way of the rules of the Senate, right, way of Order 41. So if anybody wants to oppose, you can also oppose, but not that you say you have no counter motion on the floor now, because you didn't come by. You can also raise your point of order. This is okay. Yes, Senator, will make contributions.
Dating over 100. Well, it will be very unfortunate that in a war situations will be very, very unpalatable. When two states are at war and we are firing missiles across board, the targets will not be selective, whether school or children or anybody. What is important in this situation is for us to think about how the problem will be resolved. Anybody who has not witnessed war will be talking about end it now, end it now, end it now. We have experienced war. That's why we are here. When the Nigerian war was on, 67 to 70, exactly what is happening now, killing of children and all that, happened here in Nigeria. And they're still killing. So what is in people to assess their strengths vis-a-vis their neighbors? You do not go into a mindless war. The way to solve the problem. You embrace peace. If you embrace peace, these casualties will not be there. Aggression, but Mr. President, there is every need for caution to ask the leaders in that environment top, so that they can lead to casualties.
And to say that this is which is what the Senate recommends, is very straightforward. First, that there should be cessation of hostilities, immediate ceasefire. And secondly, that the two sides must learn to live in peace, and that a two-state solution should be proposed to end the carnage. and that outside that, urge this Senate to call on the federal government of Nigeria to, as a matter of urgency, take necessary steps in conjunction with other countries and the United Nations to immediately end the conflict, ensure ceasefire, and save lives and properties of innocent women, children, and indeed humanity who are being destroyed on a daily basis. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Prayer 2. Urge the federal government of Nigeria to press for a two-state solution as a panacea for permanent resolution of the Israeli-Palestinian crisis, as earlier agreed by the United Nations since 1948. Those in support of this prayer say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Let me thank the Nigerian Senate for bringing this issue up and for also identifying with the plight of the harmless children, the plight of innocent citizens, the plight of our fellow human beings who are daily being slaughtered. And also thank our colleagues, even for the please, can you, sir,